Okay, so the project began with an idea that I had last year. The idea was that possibly I could use my passion for public speaking and my passion for empowering young people. Maybe I could combine the two together and use public speaking as a medium to build confidence, self-esteem, and create a platform for young people to be heard. I think it's a reality that young people are the future. I think it's important that we listen to what young people have got to say. Because in a lot of ways there's a lot of young people that are disengaged from society and just don't feel valued and don't feel heard. There's that kind of like moment where it's like, great, I've got some money to do the project, and then there's also at the same time it's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that? I've never done anything like this before.
My job is to kind of work with foster carers, teach them, train them, help them understand, you know, the internal and external factors.
So it's been very much about me being out of my comfort zone and in challenge zone as well.
The number of innocent civilians suffering and the increasingly dire impact on neighbouring countries can seem too overwhelming to understand.
Really helps, it really makes you feel a lot bigger inside, a lot more confident, and a chance to speak out how we feel inside, how, you know, our point of view, and to share it with a wider audience.
But I have a dream of an ideal society. I have a dream of where I'd like us to be in 5 years' time. I have a dream of a society full of compassion, full of care, where we are ourselves, where we can be who we want to be.
So I did talks in schools, as I say, went to all sorts of different youth organisations, homeless youth organisations, and gradually just began to recruit young people that were interested.
Why does it take something that nearly destroys the fabric of our society for us to realise that we're all being pushed and pulled too far by people that have no right to pull and push us too far? Why does it take a picture of a drowning toddler in Syria for us to realise that we have a humanitarian crisis on our hands? And how much more will it take for the 99% of the people like you and me in this room to realise that we are the ones who actually hold the power?
A bit like herding cats, working with young people. Some of them were kind of like really keen and say, yeah, I'll be there, or I'll email you, or I'll ring you, and then nothing would happen.
These pictures weren't my pictures. They were a vision that had been created by somebody else and I had brought into. So we see these things in pictures, in magazines, on billboards, on television. So my question became, how can I create my own vision? I want to create my own vision before I go after something that I don't really want.
We ended up with a nice tight-knit group of 8 young people who began 6 weeks training in preparation for the project. I didn't want the project to be 8 individual people going on stage and doing a performance, doing a speech and then disappearing. I wanted it to be a real group, team, sort of family.
I move them around?
Well, it's always going to add up to the same number, so...
My intention was that when the young people walked out on the stage, that it would be a visual image, an emotional memory that would stay with them for the rest of their lives.
My parents would have gladly waved a magic wand if they could, and made my journey so much easier. But I've long since realised that life is a puzzle, and perhaps we're not all meant to solve it in one go, but piece by piece. You see, I have Asperger's syndrome, and this is my story.
Overall, at the end of it, coming out the other side, it was an amazing thing to be involved in, it was a beautiful thing to be involved in, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
It was such a relief for me, to get to that point in amongst all the ups and downs and challenges of doing the project, but for that final intention to have been realised and to come true.
Good evening, and welcome to Voices of the Future.